Okay, says we're live. Hopefully that is true. Hopefully that is good. And we have everything set up the way it's supposed to be. Hello, happy Friday, because it is Friday. Yes. First Friday of February. It's exciting in some ways, but also like, where does the time go? Hello. Yeah, so I'm doing a couple of different things today. I've got I finished my editing sessions this week because I'm trying to do 3 a week, and three drafting, 3 editing sessions a week. So that's kind of how I'm trying to do it. So I finished my editing for the week, and I am ready to potentially draft. But since I've been in editing mode, I don't know how it will go. I may still be stuck in editing mode, but if that happens, I'll take the opportunity to do one of next week's editing sessions ahead of time, or just get in an extra one. But yeah, so that's sort of where we are in terms of that. I am hoping to do a little bit of fun, creative things this weekend, like maybe do a painting, maybe. But I don't know if I want to do acrylic or watercolor, sort of something to refill the creative well. Also, of course, reading. But yeah, in terms of creativity, I think I want to do a painting of some sort, or at least practice a couple different watercolor or acrylic techniques. Again, haven't decided which one. But yes, that's on the to-do list for this weekend. But yeah, Kara is here. Hello, you're eating lunch. Excellent. What is for lunch? I had a bagel with everything seasoning on top. So that was my lunch. Then I had to go make sure I flossed real well because those little poppy seeds and things get in between your teeth. And yeah, so, but they're tasty. So, you know. But yeah, so I've also started an outline for another potential story idea. So maybe drafting, maybe editing, maybe outline brainstorming. Not entirely sure. Maybe I'll just do one per sprint. Who knows? We'll just kind of see where we are. Leftover pot roast. Ooh, mac and cheese and corn. Excellent. Sounds yummy. Stacy says, I was just eating chips and salsa, and the salsa is spicy. Oh no. Make sure you have something to drink. Or some milk or some yogurt. Yeah, I'm not very spice tolerant. I am very white. So most of the spicy things that I have are always mild. So yeah, but I do like salsa. I think one of my favorite salsas though is the like black bean and corn salsa from Great Value from Walmart. It's delicious. You're allergic to milk, so you're screwed. Oh no. What about like coconut milk, or I mean, they don't have quite the same, but like a different milk-based yogurt. Do you have any of that? Have you found one that you like? I guess is the question. But yeah. Or ice cream. If you have a non-dairy ice cream, maybe that would help. Kara says, I used to be much more spice tolerant. Once you got it to be over 40, that changed. Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we had I grew up in a very white family. So like we didn't have a whole lot of spicy things growing up. So yeah, I think I have been doomed both by my Caucasianness and my upbringing. It's not to say that you can't have spicy things if you grow up in the South. It's just depending on what part of the South you're from, you don't get much of it. So Kagehime says, hi, hello, welcome. Oh gosh, I can tell I've been thinking too much. Like I have a red spot for where I like ponder and like poke at my forehead. I need to learn not to do that. But I did put my hair up in braids today, which I haven't done that in a while. But they get so thin. They get so thin and tiny. So I think it's time for a trim, maybe for cutting off dead ends and getting it to be a little bit more healthy. So at some point, not today. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to potentially fill out this new idea. So that may be the first one that I do. But then again, if I do that one first, then I might only spend time on that one. So I don't know. We'll see. Stacy says your eyes are still hurting because of the broken glasses situation, but you're hoping to get some writing done today. Excellent. Excellent. Have you ordered new glasses or working with a backup pair? I can't remember if you said you were, I think you were working with a backup pair, but I can't remember. Your family lived in Albuquerque between when you were 4 and 10. We had a fair bit of Tex-Mex food. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, depending on where you live in the South, there are definitely options for spice, but not where we lived. And then when I was 6.5, we moved to Utah, which is also not real spicy. And then we moved back to Georgia when I was 8.5. So again, not as much opportunity for spice where we were living. So you're using a pair of glasses that's 3 years old before you got bifocals. That's right. That's right. You mentioned that. I remember that now. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, Mom went back and forth between bifocals and not. It took her a really long time to get used to the bifocals. And then when she got her cataract surgery done, they're like, oh, you don't need it. But the glasses that she then has to have makes things like super big and close looking when they're not. So it's like the bottom part of the bifocals is just now like everything. And she's like, I don't know that I like this. But anyway, so she's having to get used to it again. And she's thought about going back to bifocals. Where like one part is just like glass, no prescription. And then the other part is the bifocal. So you've been reading on your phone with your nose like 4 inches away. Yeah. Yeah. I know that story. I have done said story. Yeah, when I first got glasses in 3rd grade. And before that, my reading habit was to sit on my bed, cross-legged, have the book in my lap, and then just be like super hunched over and just like face almost to the book. So yeah, that was one of the reasons why my parents took me to get my eyes checked. I'm still blind as a bat, but I don't know if we can see this. This is like quarter weight because my peripheral vision is so bad. I'm glad they have the option to do quarter weight because I have seen the like full, the Coke bottle, just like thick glasses. I've always been very grateful that I did not have to have those. But yeah. Kara says, I guess I have to count my blessings since you're lactose intolerant, but okay with the other components of dairy. You can just take the tablet and have dairy products. Yeah. And I'm sort of in that position. But for me, the tablet just sort of delays matters. So, yeah. Weird thing is after you became lactose intolerant, you no longer liked the taste of, I still love it. Still love milk products, just not drinking milk. I still love it. Well, the thing is you have to have good milk though, because there are some milks that even though they claim to be whole milk, they don't taste like they are. But then there are some milks that just like it hits spot on. So yeah. But oh well. I still miss cheese. In fact, I made a lasagna last night, like a little mini lasagna in a bread loaf pan instead of in the full 9x13 pan. I used the lactate cottage cheese, and I only did one layer of shredded cheese on top, but used Parmesan. So Parmesan cottage cheese instead of ricotta, because that's how our family does it. We do cottage cheese instead of ricotta. But yeah, and I should have put like the mozzarella in the layers as well, but I was like, you know what? We're only going to go with one layer of the shredded cheese, just to be safe. So it was good. It was very tasty. I should have had that for lunch because we had leftovers. Oh well, I'll have it tomorrow. But yeah, so I miss things with real cheese, like pizzas and lasagnas, and things like that. I'm like, I miss the real deal. So there are some things that I'm like, yeah, it's worth taking the pill and the risk 45 minutes later. So yeah. Stacy was never big on milk products other than yogurt and ice cream. You still eat ice cream, and most cheeses you can still eat. There has to be something with the processing that determines if you can eat it or not. Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, there are supposedly certain cheeses that have like less of the lactose enzyme, if that's it, or they have less fat globules, or they have less of the protein. Casein, I think is the word for that. I don't know. Anyway, so there are certain cheeses that are like have less of the lactose because they've been fermented longer, I think is the way it is. So like the longer fermented, the harder cheeses, the less soft cheese type of thing. Yeah, hard cheeses like cheddar or Swiss have lower lactose content. Yeah, Parmesan as well. You're allergic to the cow protein. Okay, so I think that's casein. So you can digest the lactose, you just can't have the protein. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Alrighty. We do need the cats for today, don't we? I'm just sitting up here chatting about lasagna and cheese and spice and I think we have one jar of that salsa left that I was talking about, the black bean and corn salsa. So I think I have one more in the pantry. We have plenty of chips, so maybe that's something I'll open this week or weekend. Okay, so we have Thursday's Cats. Next book, The Dance of Finger, A Cat's Guide to Changing Patterns of Intimate Relationships. Apparently, they are yowling at each other. And then we have today's kitty being very pampered. If presented with an opportunity to pamper yourself, take it. I agree. You should pamper yourself. Okay. Very much out of focus there. Let's do the cheat thing with the white sheet of paper. See if it works. Yes. Okay. There are certain things that you learn from watching the beauty gurus and the vloggers and all that when they show you stuff. They're like, how do I refocus the camera real quick? Oh yeah, hand background, light background, changing the distance, all of that. Okay, so we have number 48. It is the Porcupine Spirit, Time for Beginner Mind. So we have our porcupine with lots of dangly beads. When the porcupine calls your name, you are being asked to adopt a beginner's mind and to approach situations with innocence and curiosity. The old confining stories no longer have a hold on you. Life is full of surprises hiding in plain sight. Looking at the world afresh with new eyes can help you find what you have been seeking, or whether it is a relationship, an opportunity, or evidence that you have all you need right now to create what you desire. Who knew? The porcupine asks you to be playful and have a childlike curiosity. There is so much waiting for you that you have yet to discover. Nice. Innocence and curiosity, and to be playful with it. I like that. I like it. But that is our animal for the day. So yeah. So we've had our cats and we've had our critter. So I think it's time to get started. Again, I should start with the drafting because I've done with the editing for the week. And I'm afraid if I start on the outline, I might not do anything but the outline, and I should do the drafting first. So that's what we're going to try to do. So we're going to try. Let's start with a 30-minute. Let's get this set up. Make it big. Okay. And yes, the YouTube beta testing thing where the wrenches look like little shields are happening on my chat today. It was happening earlier in Cat's stream chat as well. Or at least for my end, they look like little shields. StreamYard is still showing them as wrenches. So if I click on Stacy's, it still looks like a wrench. But if I look at the chat, it looks like a little cube or a shield. So I don't know what they're beta testing, but they're beta testing something. They still look like wrenches to Kara. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Stacy still sees wrenches as well. Okay. Yeah. Funky was the one who saw it earlier. So maybe Funky was alpha round. Who knows? All right. Let's do this. 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to hydrate with and go ahead and take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, how we doing? How are we doing? I've gotten 498 words. So that's good. I may have to clean this up a little bit. I don't know. How'd you do? I'm feeling mediocre about what I wrote. Let's just say that. Diane has crawled in all dramatic like. Welcome. We appreciate the drama. Bebib. Be back in a bit. Is that what the Bebib stands for? I had to redo one of my hair ties. The hair was coming through the loop in a circle, so had to redo it. Oh, yay, Stacy made an eye appointment. You go Tuesday. Yay! I go Tuesday to potential new primary doctor. I'm kind of excited about it, but also kind of anxious. So, yay. Yay for both of us for doing medical appointments and being all adult. Meh. But yay. Yeah. So that's one of the things I have to do this weekend is like put together a document with like the issues I want to talk about with the doctor and like sort of prioritize them in case I don't know how much time I'm going to have with the doctor. But also to sort of like be able to say, hey, I'm having issues in these areas. Like these are sort of like my top priorities. These are like lower down the line, like maybe later. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I don't like doing medical appointments. So I'm nervous, but I'm excited to like go and like get these issues sort of like hopefully addressed. But like I'm also nervous. I'm like anyway. The kids go to the same place for the eye doctor and you each have different doctors. Yeah, that's about how it goes, isn't it? We used to have one really good eyeglass doctor that I really liked. And so I followed him to a different store one time, like a different location when he moved practices. And then he moved again and it was just too far. And I was like, forget it. So having that document is so important when seeing the doctor new or otherwise. Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm trying to like in my brain list the things that I need to talk to, but I also like I need to write them out so I don't forget them. And I need to do it like not that morning and maybe even not the night before. Like I need to do it probably either today or tomorrow that we all have time to think of other things that I forgot, especially for things that like have been going on for a while. And like, I need to be able to say, hey, this started at what time or like what month or whatever, and be able to deal with it. So yeah, anyway, that's in my future. That's in my to-do list. And like, I don't even, so it's like some of the stuff is like, I'd like to ask about the hypermobility Ehlers-Danlos, but like, I don't need that diagnosis at the moment. So like that could be down the line. So like that one can go low on the list. So, I'm not opposed to having that one pushed off. Yeah. Anyway, Okay, let's stop talking about the doctor because I am already anxious enough about it. And we'll deal with that when I get there. I mean, I'll deal with the list prior to, but you know. And let's scroll this down to about 30. Why is this suddenly so big? I feel like the size of things is like this is way bigger than it used to be, and I'm at 100%. But like, why is this taking up so much space? It used to be a lot smaller. I don't know. Is it bigger or smaller for y'all? Same size? I don't know. Looks weird. YouTube's doing things. That's all I can say. Is YouTube is doing things. Yeah, Ehlers-Danlos can cause other things to have different signs. Yeah, that I know of, and I know like connective tissues. I know it can cause gastrointestinal things that can simulate things like IBS or lactose intolerance and stuff. And so it's like that. I don't know if it's related or not. Because Ehlers-Danlos is like all the connective tissue, which is like a lot of stuff. And so I suspect that some of my feet problems are related to sitting in really weird positions all of my life due to Ehlers-Danlos and due to the hypermobility of my ankles. I suspect that my current back issues are also related because I used to, when my back would feel like it was not in the right place, when my hip would essentially, I think the term is sublux, what's the term for slightly for slight dislocation? Subluxation. There we go. That's the word. So when my hip would do that, I would lay on the floor, feet on the floor, and then sort of lift my hips up into a bridge position, and then like use gravity and like essentially pop my hips and back against the floor to get it to go back into place, and it would work. So I think doing that has contributed to the instability of that particular area in my back, which may have also caused some of the sciatica issues. So I suspect that a lot of my current problems are due to hypermobility Ehlers-Danlos. So it may be more urgent to get it diagnosed than I think, but I don't know. So so yeah, so getting that figured out first can help with other things. Yeah. Might need to change the view, like theater in default mode. There is one that gives a bigger screen, but you cannot scroll chat. So could look into that. True. So I may do that once we finish the stream. But anyway, so let's go ahead and do another sprinty sprint, shall we? So 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to hydrate with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. I got up to 673 words, and then my brain just sort of went went and died, in terms of that storyline. So, because we were talking about, the document that I should be making this weekend, I just went ahead and started it. Um, so essentially, I've got like 5 issues that I think I need to like prioritize. Um, yeah. So I've got those sort of like at least started and saved. Um, and then I forgot that we had a poll today. So the poll, most of you have already found it, but how would your main character approach a trip or a road trip? Are they going to plan everything down to the hour? Are they going to throw a dart at a map and that's how they choose? No plans. They were forced to flee. They had no plans of doing this trip at all, but here they are. Or are they the plan the first part and then everything after that is flexible type of person? Also, don't forget your self promo. Kara says, I have new book promo posts up at Reader's Roost. So here's the link for that. Kara says, I have the new posts up on your Substack as well, naughtynetherworldpress.substack.com. Elizabeth says, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. Diane says, don't mind me mentally crashing out over here. Trying to convince hubby he can deal with the rest of what needs to be done at the other house. If you look at me sideways today, you're going to start crying again. It's a lot. Houses and moving houses and finishing up everything is hard. It's a lot. Mental health breaks are valid and you deserve one. Yes. He took this week off to do things connected to moving, only has today and tomorrow left off. You think he's about as wiped as you are. Yeah. I second Elizabeth. I hope you don't have a whole lot to do left. And I asked if there was a specific deadline of when the other house needs to be like done. From the old house, no, just one more trip. Okay. Some cleaning and throwing things in the back of the car. Okay, so like not other than like the physical moving of stuff that the two of you would need to maybe do together or requires more muscle from hubby, then you could potentially do like things next week. Maybe. So does it all have to be done? I mean, I know y'all want to be like done with it, but yeah, sorry if you're whiny, you're just if you sit here and admit that's what we're here for. We're friends. We're friends and that's what friends are for. You're just spent. Yeah. Kara says, I understand the feeling of coming apart. You've been on the precipice of a panic attack all year. Oh, no. I think these are supposed to be hugs, virtual hugs. Yes. Hugs to Kara. And panic attack that's, over a month long is not good. Not good at all. So it's hard. Becca says, hi. Hello. Welcome. You're doing some client work today. Excellent. Is this the social media client work? Or I think that's, yeah. No real deadline. His brother is going to use the space. So it's kind of whenever. But nope, all muscle work was done by me or hired movers. Okay. So yeah. So your muscles are sore too. Your body is also saying you need a break. But yeah. Yeah. It's hard, especially when like you already know somebody like is going to be using the place. So it's kind of like you want to leave it in like a decent condition for the next person to move in and use it, because that's the nice thing to do. Um, but yeah, maybe can brother help out? Yeah, running ads and setting up some promotions for somebody. Yeah. Okay, good. Good, good. Excellent. Okay. Let's see. Um yeah, I don't know anything else. So I think we can move to another sprinty sprint. I am going to switch tasks this time because I think my brain was like meandering off into that list of things. So maybe I'll finish that, or maybe I'll switch to the outline because that's more fun than thinking about medical issues. Okay, let's go ahead and do another sprinty sprint. Let's do. Let's do. Let's do the snowy bird, but mute it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. I've been enjoying the silence again. Okay. 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to hydrate with. Cheers. Nope, on the brother helping, but it'll all work out. It will. It will. All right. 2 is sit. 3 is straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oopsies. That's the problem with muting your sound, is that you don't have the bell at the end. How'd we do? I got a little bit more done on the outline, I think. I may go back over it again, but we'll see. I also finished, I think, filling out the information for the document that I'm going to take to the doctor's office on Tuesday. At least finish filling it out for now. I'll probably come back to it this weekend and fill out some more. So, let's see. Funky made it. Yay. Happy Friday, everyone. Diane has one last wine. You get cold sores, and because of cold weather, wind, stress because of the move, your entire upper lip has broken out and you look like a walking swollen scab. Yeah. Cold sores are no fun. And they always feel like they linger for way longer than they should. But yeah, my mom gets them as well. So I know they're no fun. Jenna is also here. Waves and tags the like button. Thank you very much, Jenna. Jenna is awesome. And I hope Jenna is having a fun Friday. Diane is excited to see Jenna and Funky. And I asked Funky if Funky had the pirate mug for us. But instead, today is a classic Star Wars mug. I will accept the pirate substitution. But throws balled up paper at Diane. Oh no. Stacy got 56 words. You got words. Yay. Excellent. Celebrate everything, right? You still need the plastic chicken. Diane feels the ball of paper bounce off her head. Stacy says, I do plan on writing more words today. Excellent. Good. Becca got the copy written. Now you have to actually create the ads. Gotcha. Excellent. Part 1, check. Funky says, go, Stacy. Yes. Yes, yes. Makes a good excuse to not be filming. True. Funky actually got some personal writing done. What a day, indeed. It's not often you get that. But hey, you'll take an early Friday chance, right? Picks up the ball of paper and throws it back at Funky. Makes direct contact between his eyes. Oh no. We're having a paper ball fight, y'all. Diane, did you at least open the ball to see if there's anything written on it? Did Funky write you a note? Oh no. Did we throw the note back? All right. Let's 309. Do we need an additional sprint or are we good? No fighting, but war. Do we need another sprint to tide us over? Or are we good for the afternoon? What are you thinking? Stacy says sprint. Diane says yes. Okay, let's do a 25. Let's do a 25. Which one? Which one? Let's do the robot. If I can get it to behave. Okay. Starts to chant sprint. Oh no, Funky passed out from the attack. Okay, let's do this. So one more sprint. Save your document. Take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine. Roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4 is if you need that break, take a break. Here we go, 25 minutes. And let me turn the volume back up so I can hear the end of it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Cute robot says beep. Great job. Great job. Oops, I misspelled that last word. Not too bad. Not too bad. I think all total today, I got maybe 1,200, over 1,000 for sure, but like maybe 1,200, 1,300 in the creative work, which is good. So yeah, so between the drafting and the outlining, I got about 1,300. Somewhere in there, about 600 each. So yeah, not bad. Not bad. But yeah, so I turned the camera off for a second because the crows, one of our crows was cawing real loudly. I think they were sitting on top of the house. And we have not been feeding them as much because one, we're out of the unsalted crackers, two, we're out of the unsalted peanuts, three, our deck is not there, so they don't have the railing to hop on. So now we have the patio. So we've been sort of like tossing out things into the yard, which I don't think they like hopping on the ground as much. And also maybe they can't see it as well. Because when we had stuff on the railing, I think it was a little bit more easily visible and grabbable than on the ground. So we may have to set up some sort of like bird railing somewhere in the backyard where it's visible for us. But anyway, so I went and tossed out a couple of like red heels, split them in half, and just frisbeed them out into the yard. And then I haven't heard them since. So yeah, I know there's at least 5, maybe a 6th, but I haven't seen the 6th one in a while. There was one that had like a bunch of gray spots. I think it was an older crow, and I haven't seen that one around. So there's at least 5. But yeah, anyway, I do need to put the unsalted crackers and nuts on the grocery list so that we can feed them again. And we also need to put back out the stakes for like hanging up the suet blocks and the loose bird feeder, the loose seed feeders. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. Diane goes into hyper mode and pummels Funky with wads of paper balls at warp speed. The only visible part of Funky is one hand protruding from the edge of the pile. He promptly uses it to flip the bird. Funky also got some more work on the draft done. Excellent. Rises up from the pile of paper balls like a vampire. Stacy has gotten 384 words. Yay! And Karma is now home. Excellent. You almost forgot her. Oh no. You need to come up with 2 names, a male and female name. Do you want any specific cultural influence? Like generic traditional names, like steampunk name, like what do you have? Names for athletes, martial arts specifically. Okay. Funky says Bruce. Yeah, I think either 1 to 2 syllable names are easier to remember and like feel more pretty good. So 1 to 2 syllable. Levi, Hunter, depending on how southern you want to get. For girl or boy, you could do Taylor. What's some other Mackenzie, if you want a girl. And Mac for short. Or Kinsey. Put out some shiny trinkets for the girls. I could. I absolutely could. Names are going to be for athletes, martial arts, specifically. Funky wants to know if this is our world. Characters are white, so you don't want a name that is really black or Asian, but not anything more specific. Eva says, I like Eva. Yeah, Eva or Ava if for a girl. I have a cousin who's Ava Grace. Isabella or Bella. Funky says Barrett, bear strength. Harvey, battle-worthy. You have a granddaughter named Grace Rain. Nice. Grace is always a good option. Elizabeth is always a good option for like either a first or middle name for a girl. Joe for either. Joe for a guy and Jo for a girl. I mean, you could have it be short for Josephine, but or just Joe. Jerry is a cool nickname for a girl, or Alex. Yes, not Alexa, because we have too many of and it interferes with some of the systems. Valentina, strength. Audrina, noble strength. My grandmother's name was Audrey. So, yeah. Audrey, Nancy, Rachel, Stephanie, Haley. And of course, with like the Lees, you could spell it Lee, Leigh. Like you could so many ways you can spell Lee. Lee or Leah, you know. Canyon, you have an Canyon. We have a Griffith. Do we have Griffith or Griffin? Griffith, I think. Family, I think. But they just call him Griff a lot of times. So Canyon was given to him as a strong name, but he's had a lot of medical battles in his life. You like Corey or Coral for a girl, but Corey, yeah. Elizabeth has a million short nicknames. Yeah, 100%. Go with Bess, like Good Queen Bess. Beth, Liz, Lizzie, Liza. Like, there's so many. You have an Aunt Sue who's actually an Elizabeth. Yeah. Tian. Ooh. Yes, Tian. It's different spelling made up by your mother because she liked Diane, but not Diane. So, Cayenne. Nice. Luella, Louise, Luelle. Yeah. And then Lois or Louise. And then, of course, you have the Louis for the guy option. Loretta and Laurie. Ooh, like that. Betty also is a potential for Elizabeth. So you go by Tyan in the family life. Nice. Like it. You like Mom Maggie's Loretta or Laurie. Yeah. And then, of course, there's always Maggie. Your former stepmother is a Loretta. You yourself cannot name a character you like that name. Yeah. That's the one thing about teaching is like, and then, of course, getting to know people in life. Like there are people who forever change what names you can name your own children or grandchildren. So, yeah. Yeah. You have two Genevas in the family. Oh, one is Neva, like that. and the other's Ginny. Nova also, I think, is a name that has risen in popularity in the last like 10 years or so. Kemp, warrior, champion, athlete. Nice. Also, you could pull from like Irish or Scottish ancestry. Sean in the many spellings. Elizabeth is your daughter's named after your mother, your mother Betty. Yep. Magnolia is a popular baby name at the moment. Yeah, I think Olivia is still like the top name at the moment, but yeah. Magdalena. Yes. Yes. You had a grandmother named Betty, short for nothing. You never got to meet her, but it's kind of neat. Yeah. You have two cousins named Lori. Yes. Yeah. We had a Colleen. Allison or Allie. We have a Caroline. We also call her Carrie. Yeah. And then we could essentially like, so my grandmother and grandfather had 5 girls, 2 boys. All the girls have the same initial, MJM. So they had to think of 5 different M's and 5 different J's. So we had Melanie, Melissa, and see, some of them go by their middle name now, and I don't remember what their original is, because they go by their middle name. One of them has officially changed her name, and one of them has passed away before I ever knew her. So like that was not a Melanie, Melissa, Miranda, Marjorie. I don't think it was Melinda because they already had Mel's with Marilyn, maybe? I think Marilyn was one of them. Okay, now I'm just like, memory is shot to heck. Ooh, you're thinking of Gwendolyn. Nice. And then you have the Lynn as well. You have Gwenna. Marquette is a sister's name. Oh. You've always liked the names Ethan and Ian. Yes. Garrett has always been a favorite of mine for characters. And George. Something about the G names. Your dad's side all had the same middle name, with one child using it as their first. Nice. Marcia's. You have so many Aunt Marcia's. Just 2, but still. You also have a cousin. Elizabeth has a cousin named Marcia. Yeah. Stacey, are we giving you some options? Hopefully so. It's for your pre-apocalyptic world, and it's for their backstory. But yeah, so many names. Diane's like, Marcia, use Marcia. She's like, I love a good rabbit hole. Yes. Yeah, especially a name rabbit hole. And I could be in them forever because I'm terrible at naming characters. One of those names is your nephew's name, so you'll be avoiding that one. Won't say which one for his privacy, though. Gotcha. Perfectly fine. But yeah, so there's so many. And I'm trying to remember. So mom's middle name is Joe. My Aunt Jan goes by Jan. My Aunt Julie, who passed away before I was born, went by Julie instead of her M name. I want to say maybe Jane was one of theirs. So I think it was Melanie Jane, but I'm not sure. Melissa Joe. I don't remember what my Aunt Margie's middle name is, but it's another J. James for boy. Paul. Any of the disciples. Classic. You have an Aaliyah in 3 places in the family tree. Remember the Brady Bunch? Football episode. Options. Plenty options. Your mom had 6 children, birthed 3 boys and 3 girls. The reference came a lot. You remember the Brady Bunch, but don't want to bring in that imagery. Gotcha. Jan was jealous of Marcia and then said, oh, okay, that's what that, yes. Now that you say that, now I remember. Stace says, I think I have some solid names, and some were not the ones that I would have come up with, so that's great. Yay, we helped. Excellent. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for joining me. We do need to end the poll. So 44% of our main characters are planning the first destination on their trip/road trip, and then they're flexible after that. 31% are going to plan everything down to the hour, like everything. 19% of our main characters have no plans for this trip because they were forced to flee, and this was not in their plans at all. And 6% are just going to throw a dart in the map and see what happens. So, speaking of names, bye Felicia. I guess you could use one of the names we were going to use for Karma, but went elsewhere. There you go. Funky is wishing us all a great weekend. Same to you, Funky. And hey, no winter weather storm this weekend. Yay! But you're going to need to add more people as they get into this new environment, so more names will be good. Yes, exactly. All right. Thank you very much for sticking with me for that extra sprint that I forgot to change the banner for. And I will, yeah, exactly. Thank goodness, no winter storm watch this weekend. Stacy says, we're supposed to have snow this weekend. Oh no. It went elsewhere, Funky. Oh, sorry. We did not mean to send you our weather, but we were tired of having it. So maybe we aren't sorry. I don't know. Alrighty. Don't forget to save. And make sure that you stay hydrated this weekend. And make sure you do something fun this weekend. So I will see y'all on Monday. Alright. Bye.